lift you high above the earth and the heavens. Oh yes, I will worship you, lift you high above the earth and the heavens. You are Lord, you are Lord, yes you are. You are Lord, you are Lord, yes you are. I will worship you, lift you high above the earth and the heavens. Oh yes, I will worship you and lift you high above the earth and the heavens. You are Lord, you are Lord, yes you are. You are Lord, you are Lord, yes you are. Awesome God, how great thou art. You are God, mighty are your miracles. We stand in awe of your holy name. Oh Lord, we bow and worship you. Awesome God, how great thou art. You are God, and mighty are your miracles. We stand in awe of your holy name. Oh Lord, we bow and worship you. We bow down and worship Yahweh. Oh yes we do. We bow down and worship Yahweh. Oh yes, Yahweh. Oh Yahweh, Yahweh.
Amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
What a beautiful way to start our week.
I should have probably started recording her. Then maybe from tomorrow, every morning, I just play her, you know, her singing in my ears every time. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah, that's the beautiful Enyonam.
Wow.
Super talented.
We have talents in Ghana. We are here sitting on TV speaking English. There are people out there doing things, eh? There are people doing great things in the country.
Peaceful. I mean, the weather feels just right. It looks like it's about to rain. It looks like it's not. You know, just wake up to such a beautiful voice. It's just, we're blessed. I think we're blessed.
Yeah. So congratulations to her. I think she's going to do love. So I'm just congratulating her in advance if this is what she chooses to do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is. I think there's nothing else she should.
Enuonyam, that's the name of the artist. She's fantastic. Yes. Enuonyam, not Enuonyam.
Hey,
Enuonyam. You see, if I want everybody you want everybody to be from your region. You want everybody to be from your region. But but your region. You see, but it's good. It's good. Now we are going to divide your region small, so she might actually not even be from your region eventually.
I was actually thinking that. Oh yeah, like where she's
good. She's good. She's fantastic, and I think her name,
blessing,
represents
right?
yes.
Well,
grace, blessing. Yeah. I think it's more of grace because blessing will be in Shira. So Enuonyam will be more of grace. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. More
what a
relating to grace and favor.
And a beautiful voice.
Yeah, she's good. She's fantastic. Anyway, so good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a beautiful Monday.
And thanks for joining us on Breakfast Daily right here on City TV. We are very excited to be with you.
Yes.
Before we even go on, maybe we should just remind them. So this is Jifa.
Yes, I am Jifa.
Jifa Ikea Ametam, who would want everybody in Ghana to be from her region, as if we can all fit there. If you come with a name like Enuonyam, we change it to Enuonyam.
But we do have a lot of talented people from my region, so it's not far-fetched. Yeah.
Like how many can you mention?
You have even City alone. We have Bernard, we have Jifa, we have Richard.
You have Bernard, you have Richard Delasky. Yeah, you have
Mauli.
Mauli Chikata.
So it's not far-fetched to assume which is Enuonyam.
Well. You have Aibedem. Why are you moving away from Aibedem? You have Aibedem. You have to be proud. You have to be very proud of what you have. Solid group of people. I so love, you know, the culture, the Voltairean culture, if I should put it that way. The Ebe. I mean, of course, I've been informed it's not Ewe. It's
Ebe, yeah.
Ebe or something.
It's not Ebe. It's Ebe.
No, because sometimes when there's an F, we are entreated to pronounce it as a P. So I need to be sure.
But it's E-A-W.
No. I'm just saying sometimes, you know. So I'm just trying to get it like or when there's a P, it's pronounced as an
like my town is Apife. But it's P.
Exactly, and a flower. I'm here is a flower.
Yeah,
you know,
so
really good, fantastic.
Trying. I think
but I just wonder sometimes why don't we? I mean, if you want it to be spelled Aplau, maybe we should have just used the P.
No.
It would have made life a lot easier for the other 9 regions.
Stop it.
For the other 9 regions. Let us consolidate all the regions.
Anyway, how was your weekend?
It was fantastic. Over the weekend, Friday was super. There was the opening game, the Premier League, and then we had a wonderful event at Bosphorus. So I think it started from Friday. Manchester United and Leicester City. Yeah. Super game. So Manchester United sadly won the day.
Sadly.
And then on Saturday also, you know, I love football. So my weekends are exclusively 80% football.
Wow.
80% football. Yes, so it was a fantastic weekend for me. You missed the Premier League so much, about 90 days, you know, hibernation. And then the champions finally come out. Manchester City also did their thing once again over the weekend. It was just good, you know, embarrassing Arsenal in their home.
Well, I toured Ghana. I had a blast. I went with a City Newsroom team to Akosombo, right? So I don't want to give away the story because you do have to watch City Newsroom tonight to find out what we discovered. But for me, it was shocking that there's a small town not so far away from the dam that they don't have electricity. There's a guy there who's 25 years old, and he's not had electricity his entire life. From the day he was born till now, he's never seen electricity in his home, and he lives just like 15 minutes away from the dam. So that was That was
Wow.
eye-opening for me, because at least you would think that we would provide the neighboring, villages
First.
first,
Yes.
even if they don't have to pay, just the benefit of being next to something like that, right? And there were farmers who are foreign brands that are harvesting tilapia, right? So they have tilapia farms. And we were asking them, do they provide anything for you guys, right? Because you can clearly see a lot of revenue generating activities going on, but then there's also this glaring poverty in the area.
Akosombo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I won't
Alright.
give it away. You do have to watch City Newsroom tonight to see it all. But for me, it was.
I'm curious. I'm curious.
It was just humbling.
Anyway,
because when you're in
I think
Accra,
I think when I get off, when I leave here, I'm just going to sit in front of my screen and just keep watching City TV, and I'll wait for that
City
report you're
Newsroom
talking
tonight,
about. Yeah.
and
I'll watch
all week long, and
till
you
City
see it.
Newsroom
Yes,
time.
yes, exactly.
Anyway, so remember also that there was a sad story I also saw in the papers about
The
we
policeman.
had over the weekend. Story broke, I think, Saturday night. Event happened around 11 p.m. The sad event happened, what eventually happened was that some policemen got shot and 2 civilians also got injured in the process. So what actually happened, there's a house being robbed, and then the police get a phone call that the house in Dansoman, around Asoridan, is being robbed. Then the police people drive to the scene, and while they're looking for the place, according to the reports, the alleged armed robbers, at this point it's difficult to even say alleged, the alleged armed robbers opened fire on them, and then the policemen got injured in the process, and sadly 2 civilians also got injured in the process. So what happened is that the driver of the police vehicle, who was seated in the vehicle, went to get his people. They rushed them to the hospital, and that's how it is now. So it's sad.
It's sad because on the one hand, we're telling policemen to not, inflict harm on civilians, and the civilians are doing this policemen. And for me, when I heard this story, I'm like, why aren't we upset that, because the policeman could be your dad, it could be your brother, it could be your uncle. They are working just like we're working right now, and there's absolutely no reason for anyone to harm a policeman. Like, I don't know why anybody would do that, because it's their job, and they were there to protect, the people.
It's just really sad how you can look at it from various angles. So on the screen we have a little story in respect of saying, I told you the issue happened in Dansoman. So there's the police station which has jurisdiction in the area, the Dansoman Divisional Police Command. So it's
really sad. I mean, Dansoman is just 20 minutes away from here. And it's Dansoman is relatively peaceful. You won't expect this to happen in a place like Dansoman. And for police, I'm just happy that they are alive. They are not. We didn't have any case of anybody dying. But no one should go through this while they are working, right? You should not do this. I mean, why would you? You shouldn't shoot
I believe
anybody.
this should be one of the civilians. This is sad. Well, this is clearly a police officer. You can see from the trousers, and he's also receiving treatment at the moment. I think they were rushed to the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and this is actually the report that we had.
It's really sad. It's extremely. I mean.
So as much as we are bashing policemen, we need to also appreciate the fact that most of them are actually being shot at,
And we need to also provide resources for them to protect themselves, So in as much as we're saying they shouldn't abuse their power and they should not, shoot to kill, they should also be able to protect themselves, right? And nobody would excuse anybody for harming a policeman. That's their job. They're supposed to be here to protect us.
In fact, harming a policeman, you're actually harming the state.
Yeah.
There's a funny case which has been decided. When policemen are not just ordinary people. per se. I mean, they are like you and I, but once they are in the uniform,
yeah.
you know, they are representing the state, the security of the state. So harming a policeman is like actually infringing a serious wound on the state. Yeah. Not to elevate policemen above ordinary citizens, but then, in fact, citizens are not
there
ordinary.
to protect the state.
They represent something. So, for instance, in a particular case where a policeman without lawful authority per se went to arrest someone, and in the course of the arrest, without giving the person reasons for the arrest or anything, so it became a struggle, and the person actually beat the policeman. He beat the policeman. Yes, he tore his clothes, like literally beat the policeman. So when eventually the case was sent to court, it so happened that because the policeman did not have lawful warrant to arrest the person, it would be deemed as kidnapping in a way. However, the person will still be found culpable for destroying the policeman's uniform because it's state property.
You're kidding.
that's how things actually would work in a situation like that. But policemen, so that's just to say that policemen are supposed to be given that sort of, especially when they're doing what they're supposed to do, which is very important. We have to try to cooperate with them. So in a case where a policeman has gone to an armed robbery scene, according to the report, they were not even aware that that was the place the thing was happening. So it was more or less a surprise attack on them, you know. So it's very sad. So the incident happened around Dansoman Asori Down, and we would say at this point that if you were there, or if you have any such knowledge of this incident, it's very important to give the police information. We are aware of some of the challenges that we may have as a nation, but then as much as possible, we depend on each other. The police depend on us, we depend on the police. So let us build that cooperation and try to give any information that we have in respect of this particular offense or any particular offense that you are aware of. It doesn't really matter if it's your friend or it's your family member who may be involved. I say this all the time. An offense is an offense. The family member or friend may have done this to a policeman, may have done this to somebody who you do not know. But then this may continue and it might happen very close to you. So let's just be each other's keeper and try to give information. And
I couldn't have said it any better, right? And I think this also opens a wider conversation about the resources we provide to our policemen. Honestly, if a policeman does not have a car, they don't have, you know, even tasers, right? Because if they had a taser, maybe, I don't know, if someone has a gun, you can't really tase them, right? But, you know, we need to, when people see military men, they accord them some level of respect. Well, we've heard extreme cases like Major Mahama, right? But we should be able to provide our policemen with enough resources so that when anyone sees them, there's this fear of this man is here to protect the state. So the minute I see him, I should stop whatever I'm doing, right? So to have the audacity to not only not care, but also harm a policeman, that takes
dangerous.
some level of
And
audacity.
I mean, you know, growing up, we weren't really hearing such stories of policemen being shot at, being killed, and all those things. I mean, there were stories in isolation, but now it appears that some criminals have gotten the sort of courage or boldness to actually, you know, not just exchange fire. At first, when you hear police is coming, they all run away. But now they actually stand and there's a shootout. No. They actually stand and there's a shootout and they are harming these police people.
We call out the policeman. That does not give anybody the right to think that they can harm the policemen. You know, like, no. The policemen we discuss who do the wrong things are just a minority. It's not all policemen. So you shouldn't assume, because we are talking about a policeman in a specific area, that you can now go to a different area and do whatever you want and we will back you. That's wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
Yes, and the police also, while we're still talking about police, there should be certain reforms in the police sector. There's a new work program that the new IGP says, you know what, we are doing this to make the police is your friend, the police is your friend. As much as we are doing that, I'm thinking of a situation where, I mean, I have come close to incidents where there's a silent expectation that the victim has to pay for one or two things, if not
You're
for nothing
kidding.
at all, for transport. So you go to the police station, you make a report. Let's say you've been robbed. So you made a report. Now the police have to go to the scene. When the police are going to the scene, they'll tell you to pick a taxi for them.
Yeah.
You know, all these things. So I'm thinking, so imagine you're living at a place which is, in fact, it's not even the normal thing. It doesn't even make too much sense to me that the victim would have to pick a taxi for the police. The victim may have to pay for X, Y, Z. I mean, it's like, so if I've been robbed, imagine everything has been taken from me and I've come to make a report. I'm supposed to pay again. It also speaks to the fact that it appears justice may be for the rich.
Yeah.
Because if you cannot pay for this, it means you won't even venture to go to the police station. Already you've been robbed, you've lost some money. Now you should go and pay again for transport and what else that might be there. So as much as we are looking at it this way, it's always good for us to take a holistic look at all of these things. Yeah. But most importantly, at this point right now, we need to have some reforms going forward. We need to have a clearer picture. What happened? Let's ask questions. What happened in this particular situation, or so that such a situation will not occur again. Mm-hmm. When an incident like this happens, let's take a holistic look at it. So the police people were going to the scene. They were unable to identify the particular place where the thing was happening, where the call was made from. Yeah. Is there a way that we can
make that
use technology? Yeah. Exactly, so that when a person makes a call from point X, the police are able to trace straight to point X. What happened in the interim? How were the police? 4 police people were shot, and per the report, I believe they were probably in the same vehicle. Yeah. So if 4 police people were shot in the same vehicle, what sort of training were they given that it appears it was 100% tragedy on the side of the law, on the side of the police, and there was no, according to the report again, there's no story of, there's no incident or fact of the other people who were shooting at the police themselves being shot at. Yeah. You understand? It's sad. So while they were looking for the people, clearly, so they were out of the car, the driver was still in the vehicle, and then this incident happened. What sort of training are we even given to the police that they are unable to preempt such a thing? Because if you are going to a place, you do not know the exact place, and then you know maybe it's around this area. The fact that they had gotten out of the vehicle, according to the report, the fact that they had gotten out of the vehicle suggests that they knew it's around the area. Yeah. So what sort of evasive techniques did they use, knowing that the people could be anywhere? If you know you're around the area and you are told that they are armed robbers, you are not told that they are thieves. If they are thieves, they'll probably not call you. They'll just call the area boys, and they'll just gang up on the people. So you have been told they are armed robbers. So you know they are armed. What sort of training do we give the police that they were unable to preempt this exact thing from happening?
But I think on a more serious note, though, nobody can preempt someone harming the policeman, because at least you are thinking, even if the person is armed, when they see a policeman, just seeing that uniform alone would deter them to run away, because you know that if you are caught, you're going to jail. Well, right. So
to me, there's been several media reports in the past where police people have been shot. Even recently, there's 7 people who were killed at I think Asawase. What happened in that particular was more or less a response to reports that one policeman had been shot. Yeah. So you know that police people are being shot all the time. So if you are going to such an area, you've heard they are armed robbers, at least there should have been something. I would have expected maybe, I don't know, but I think maybe we should ask questions again on how we are training our police people, on how well they are equipped, like you said. How many police people have, for instance, bulletproof vests? What exactly are we doing wrong that to make sure that this particular event does not occur again?
And then also our youth, right? Because this is sad on all of us that we are raising children who think it's okay to harm a policeman, right? We're always saying that we should have community centers, right? Sometimes you need to, when people are unemployed and they are bored, they can be influenced by their peers. And this isn't even an excuse for what they did, but they should have an alternative so that they know that we can go here, we can play football, we can do this, we can just be productive so that we are not, we are not engaging in activities that are harmful. If you're not going to contribute to the growth of the nation, at least don't also, don't do things that will deprive it of its security, right? It's sad on all accounts.
Yes, and on the issue of youth, the falling standards in respect of morality when it comes to the youth of today, I'm very disgusted and very sad. The audacity with which they do certain things and the lack of remorse, the sheer lack of remorse on the part of these people. Because over the weekend, for instance, in fact, a while ago, there was a report about one of these unfortunate tapes leaking, and the 3 boys who were involved in that tape actually go on social media. When they heard the police are looking for them, they actually go on social media and brag about it, and they actually brag about it that where the police cannot catch us, what can the police do? Yes, we are here, find us if you can, sort of thing, on social media, on Instagram. Wow. I'm like, are you people serious?
Wow.
Are you people serious? What is the nation coming to? What sort of
crazy.
What sort of person are you even going to grow up to be? Wow. Are you people serious? It's
So we need, because if they are a reflection of us, right? So if they are failing, then we are also failing, and we really need to answer some hard questions of the resources we've provided to them to ensure that they don't go down the wrong path.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't even tell you guys the hashtag to use, but we've received a bunch of messages that I will read. If you haven't brought us your messages yet, be sure to send it with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. So I'll read some messages. So this is from Positive Change, Medina Zongo Junction. We need to change the change if the change. Okay, Jesus Christ.
That's too much change.
Yes, okay. I actually want to read it. So let me see. We need to change the change if the change we changed is not the change we were supposed to change. We will continue to hang this dog. So I think he's just saying
that's a political statement.
Yes, and then this one is from Pajo of Big Shoe. President Akufo-Addo is surely implementing his promise. The 112 ministers no longer use V8 when touring and making promises. Free SHS is here. One district, one factory is also here. I guess the 1 million for each constituency has also been paid. Lastly, the dam for my village is right at my backyard. What a listening president we have. Hi to Mame.
Oh, he has a dam already, eh?
I think he's being sarcastic. But we get the point. And the president is working on all these things. Yes, okay, this one is also from Dr. Abedi. He says, good morning, champion host. Thanks to the President Akufo-Addo government for working hard to build a strong and resilient economy to avoid returning to the IMF for a financial bailout after it exits the current program by the end of the year.
That's right, it exits.
Hi to Reverend Samuel Mensah.
Yeah, okay. No, I think the person may have written exist, but after it exits the IMF program. Don't worry.
Exits, anyway, yes. Yeah. After it exits the current program by the end of the year.
Well, yes, we are praying, of course. Nobody wants to be a debtor or, whether indebted in policy or indebted in finances. Nobody wants to be in such a position, and knowing that our banking industry has crippled us to a large extent, I think with the banking industry, there are serious questions that need to be asked, and we may ask them.
And there's actually this story that we're not going to do, but people should just watch, pick up the BNFT and just 8 billion. We'll talk about it during the news review, because we have run out of time. Unfortunately, time went by so fast. But do not go
flies
anywhere.
When you're having fun with Wilberforce.
Yes, it does.
Anyway.
Don't forget to join us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832.
News review is next. Don't go anywhere.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February?
Yes.
Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. Whoa. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
Okay, welcome back to Breakfast Daily. Now it's time for the news review segment for today. And before we introduce our guest for this particular segment, we shall take a look at some of the stories making the headlines. But remember to join us with the hashtag on all social media platforms with the hashtag, of course, Breakfast Daily, and on WhatsApp.
0550-585-832. 0550-585-832. So we'll delve right into the headlines, starting with the Daily Graphic. 4 policemen shot, attacked when responding to distress call. So that story is on page 3 of the Daily Graphic. Government working to end IMF support. That's coming from our president. And don't desert Indigenous Bank. Consultant appeals to public. That story is on page 20 of the Daily Graphic.
Now let's take a look at the Ghanaian Times this morning. The Ghanaian Times says we'll make free SHS compulsory. President, and the full story is on page 16. Now whether or not free SHS can be made compulsory, we shall take a look at that shortly. Also, work on Accra Kumasi dual carriageway to begin end of year. And finally, the sad story here: 4 cops, 2 civilians shot by armed robbers. So, so that's the report we have here now. I think stories like this should be using maybe alleged armed robbers, because maybe they would have been there to do something else, not to rob. But bottom line is that they were shot at, and it's a sad situation.
Now on to the Daily Heritage.
Okay.
Public servants to lose jobs for not acquiring Ghana cards. So we will look at that story, and it's on page 3. Nungwa MP prepares over 900 students for free SHS as her annual 1-month free SHS prep classes begin. So that story is on page 2. I think it's a beautiful thing for her to do.
Very, very solid. Now the Business and Financial Times says 8 billion Ghana cedis banking baggage more than capex. So that's what we have this morning. Also, more support for local goldsmiths, amongst others. We have on the front page of the Business and Financial Times this morning.
Now on to the Chronicle. There's some pretty harsh words that I don't think I can mention this early.
Feel free.
Okay, so it says, nonsense, stupid man. Howard Kumsin attacks national security operatives for enforcing presidential orders. So allegedly, she used some words that weren't so pleasant at the man. And that story is on page 3 of the Chronicle. Pentecostal church runs away from tax payment. And finally, Ghana will gain economic freedom next year. That's coming from our president. We've been waiting for economic freedom for 61 years. So it's refreshing that we will achieve it next year, according to Kim Palmer.
Super. Now let's take a look at the Today newspaper. Says tension in CAGD, that's the Controller and Accountant General's Department. Says multimedia also in gang up fight against Makin. Another story here says chaos at Hajj Village over flight delay. So that's what we have this morning on the front page of the Today newspaper.
Oh, okay, on to the Gold Street business. Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire agree on delimiting maritime boundary. That story is on page 2. GIPC request entries for Ghana Club 100 awards. And 30 unsolicited investors bid for Fair Trade Redevelopment Project. More offers expected as official bid set to open. Redevelopment begins by January 2019. That story is on page 2. And there's another interesting story here that says U.S. ranchers eye Ghana's dairy market as investors look to bring 4,400 heads of dairy cattle. Ghana in 2017 imported an estimated $90 million in dairy and dairy products. U.S. held a 1.5% market share in this figure.
Okay, now the new Crusading Guide, new BBC Africa Eye investigation. Anas died nearly. The full story is on pages 3 and 10. It's in respect of some human harvest in pictures. That's what we have on the front page of the new Crusading Guide. You should grab a copy and check the report out for yourself. I am being blackmailed. Pram Pram's stool father declares, says installation of Michael Parker is void. And finally, Afenyo Makin rebuts dirty propaganda. That's what we have on the front page of the new Crusading Guide this morning. Now, in Business Day, we have sachet water producers employ over 2 million Ghanaians. That story is on page 6. And criminals hijack banking sector. So there are pictures of the CEO of UT Bank and the CEO of the Bank for Construction, William Ato Essien, who's become very popular in these recent weeks, Sovereign Bank, and of course the CEO of Beige Bank. And so unfortunately how they put the pictures there immediately after the headline. Criminals hijack banking sector. It's as if they're calling. Now the Herald says ex-energy minister mouth sealed. Kid brother justifies Akufo-Addo's action. Now, this alleged justification was on the program right here on CCTV, the big issue. Yeah, so very, very important. Frances Esiam dragged before Martin Amidu, litany of corrupt acts raised. That's a very, very important story over there. And finally, road minister in trouble over East Legon Spintex road tunnel cost. So that's what is contained in the Herald newspaper this morning, amongst others. So we'll just introduce our guest for today. We have been joined in the studio by Gary Nimakon. He's a member of the NPP legal team. Good morning, Gary, and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sister. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, very well. You're looking good. The two of you are.
Thank you
very much.
My brother Amaliba too.
Well, we have also been joined by Abraham Amaliba, who is also a member of the NDC legal team. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
Interesting. Now, it was left with only maybe red in your attire, then you'll be fully NPP designed. Would you not agree?
Thank you very much. So you are right. The distinction is the red.
The distinction is the red. Okay. Now let's take a look at this particular story. I want us to start off with
The Ghanaian Times.
The Ghanaian Times, a story in page 16 this morning of the Ghanaian Times. Remember, if you are watching, you can send your messages or contributions to the program via the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and of course the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832.
Okay, now I'm reading from page 16 of the Ghanaian Times. It says the President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has expressed his determination to give legal backing to the free SHS policy to make it binding on the people. And he goes on to say that I'm determined to make it a binding policy as we legislate free SHS so that it becomes the minimum qualification a Ghanaian child attains as they start from kindergarten. And as part of this report, he goes on to say that, or the report goes on to say that the president noted that the implementation of the SHS policy had shamed those who fought against it, adding the policy was carefully designed to allow every Ghanaian child to at least complete SHS once the person attains school-going age. So I'll start with you, Council Abraham Amaliba, on this particular story, making free SHS compulsory. I mean, when I saw this particular story, my first reference was to Article 38, for instance, which makes basic education compulsory. But whether or not you can compel a person outside this particular provision based on the freedoms and liberties of citizens to make SHS also compulsory, remember that you need to qualify even to get to SHS. So whether or not you can even make it compulsory, I'll start with you, Abraham Amaliba, on this story.
Let me start by saying good morning to your viewers and to indicate that this is my first time on your program. It is strange that the president would once again want to hoodwink Ghanaians into thinking that this whole idea about free SHS is his baby. You say Article 35,
38.
but it's actually 25. Article 25, 1B says that secondary education in its different forms, including technical and vocational education, shall be made generally available and accessible to all by every appropriate means, and in particular by the progressive introduction of free SHS.
Yes, that's the availability. I was referring to the compulsion about it being compulsory, and Article 38(2) says the government shall, within 2 years after Parliament first meets after the coming into force of the Constitution, draft a program for implementation within the following 10 years for the provision of free, compulsory, universal basic education.
Yes, so when you tie it to here, clearly it cannot be his baby, and he shouldn't be going about making it look like this is his baby. These are constitutional imperatives. You've read one, I've read one. Now, as a government, you come in and you are continuing from where we started. What did we do? We started progressively free education, and you took it to another level. You don't turn around and say your opponents were against it. Which opponents were that? Opponents who started the started the progressively free education, built a number of schools. In fact, the president should be ashamed that he's implementing this policy badly. We are now being told double track, when it will come to triple track. Look at how the children were sleeping as if they were refugees when they first implemented the program. Who even knows whether the situation has improved? Because I've taken my eye off them. Now you are implementing something which is not so good. You will not concentrate on how to make this policy work for all of us. I traveled over the weekend, last weekend, to the north. Between Ofenso and Akomadan is a beautiful built E-block, fenced, empty. I'm told there are others dotted all over the country, built by the NDC. You refuse to send students in there. Then you turn around and say there are no buildings, and that you are going to implement a double track system. The long and short of it is that, one, he should stop touting his credentials as the one who has introduced free education, because the Constitution enjoins every Ghanaian child to have it. Two, he should concentrate on and focus on ensuring that the implementation is without hitches. As it is now, it looks very bad. And thirdly, he should stop bad-mouthing people who offer criticisms. The last time it was naysayers. The former president, John Dramani Mahama, proposed a stakeholders meeting. Has he done anything wrong? Why will you call him a naysayer? You are faced with challenges. Your own Minister of Education has, in fact, indicated that there were challenges. What you would do as a president, who in this case has not been misled, but who in this case knows of the problems, is to listen to various voices and wisdom, and then you carry everybody along. But he should stop. Any time he has the opportunity, he begins to call his opponents names. I think this is not what a president should be doing.
All right.
What is all right? Are you the one controlling the program? If you are uncomfortable,
you made your point.
No, if you are uncomfortable,
let Amaliba finish,
see,
please.
You
let
are uncomfortable. I can understand, but that doesn't mean you should stop me.
Please,
so I think that finally,
conclude.
If you joke, I'll add another one. So I think that finally, we should tell the president to slow down and then take everybody on board. This free SHS is what we all hope to achieve per the Constitution. And so it is not his baby. It is for all Ghanaians. Yes, he has come, he has taken it to the next level. That is how governance should be. But the negative reference to opponents as naysayers, shame, he should be ashamed that he's not implemented the program well.
Okay.
Well, my brother, good morning to you again, and to my sister, to my brother Amaliba, who by virtue of the new governance in place, you can see how he has actually improved. Look at him. Now, truth be told,
it's my wife and
in the run-up to the 2016 elections, you were in the country, you heard it. When my brothers were saying that it is not possible, it cannot be done. We all had a campaign. How can it be implemented? How are you going to do it? Where's the budget? They say all these things here. And the president made it very clear. He said, even if I will spend all the country's resources to ensure that each Ghanaian has at least a basic education to secondary school, he's going to do it. Look, let my brother be aware, and truth be told, the Constitution did not implement free SHS. They didn't implement it. When it came into effect in 1992, 1993, we started writing the Constitution. Have you seen this in this country before? Only under Akufo-Addo that you saw free SHS being implemented in the form that it has taken. They said they took what? What did you say?
Well,
that,
he wasn't talking about
progressively free.
Yes, he wasn't talking about the implementation. He was saying the idea of free SHS was already in the Constitution in 1992.
We have an idea, we have implementation. You can have your ideas in your head. The question of how does that idea come into fruition? That idea you have in your head, how does it be implemented? That's the catch of the matter. You can have beautiful ideas on paper. How does the citizen benefit from the idea that you have on paper? The president says free SHS, and it has been implemented to its full extent. Forget about the difficulty in implementation. Why? It's a new concept in its implementation, and you will agree with me that once students are coming in, definitely there will be huge numbers. It's very clear. You will expect the numbers to increase, because now it is each child must have access to education, not that some must go and some must be left behind. So clearly you will expect the numbers to increase.
You see, my issue was the issue of it being compulsory. It being compulsory, because I'm looking at it from two angles. One, I strongly have questions on the legality of same. Secondary school, I mean, basic education is compulsory. From what I just read, Article 30, basic education, the Constitution said is compulsory. But when it talks about progressively free, it does not mention compulsory. You understand? So secondary school cannot be described as basic education. That's secondary education. So as to compel Ghanaians to go to secondary school as a compulsion, when we know that when you're writing the BECE, there's a minimum grade before you even go. So if you don't meet the minimum grade, how are you even compelled to go to secondary school?
It's a very simple thing. The first point is that you must take a law to parliament to pass an act of parliament to make education at the secondary level compulsory. That's the first point of call. The second point of call is that once you get to school, you pass, you have to be in school. You ought to be in school. You see, let's not take this matter on its face level. Look, walk around the streets of Accra. Certain people who, under normal circumstances, ought to have been in school, but for economic reasons, they cannot be in school. And they are run over all of us in Accra. You know the effect of those things? These guys, instead of being in school, are doing things which they ought not to do. And the effect is that they will now turn out to be riffraffs in society. When you and I are sitting, sleeping in our little, corner, they come and say with the gun and say, look, these are armed robbers now. Education ought not to be a situation whereby because of money, you should stay at home. Look, let me tell you, Amalaba, maybe you don't know. Some of us had difficulty even going to school. We had to go through difficult challenges financially. But by the grace of God, we are where we are now. Now, assuming somebody, for some financial reasons, could not go to school, all right, and then his destiny or his future turns into ramshackles because of money. That's a danger. So it is immaterial how it's being implemented, double track, triple track, quadruple track, whatever it is. We will ensure that every child who was ought to be in school will be in school. It doesn't matter. Once you must be in school, you will be in school, and you go and learn. That to me is a catchword. Okay. I do not have a difficulty in saying that the children, because certain projects which you left behind without no budget, and there's no money to implement those schools to complete them. So we should keep the children out of school and wait for 4 years before you can complete those buildings. No, we must find a way. So I agree with the Minister for Education when he says that certain 200 and something schools are going to be selected, all right, and then we'll put those schools on double track. Put the students in, let them go and learn. They ought to be in school, they ought to go and learn. That to me is the crux of the matter. It is immaterial. And no child should be left out because of financial considerations. No child should be left out because I'm telling you, we have our own experience, personal experiences. If we share them with you, you will marvel. And you wonder whether some of us at this stage we say we are lawyers, we are this, we are that. We have done even shoe shine, before in our lifetime, secondary school and A-level, O-level. Don't make that mistake. Finances should not be reason why you should not be in school. You understand? So I find this matter very, very, very crucial. The president having sat down to reconsider that every child ought to be in school, irrespective of your financial background. We must applaud the president. Forget about the fact that you say we are going to credit the children in one facility or we're going to rotate them. The bottom line is that we must ensure that no child is left out. Because see, by so doing, what you do is that you give people minimum level of education that at least they can even understand certain basic and certain fundamentals. Okay. And then they can have their lives in a better state. Okay, we'll wrap you up on that point. Go to school. We are where we are now.
Thank you.
And therefore, we must ensure that every child is in school.
Most grateful.
I'm not going to school, you are a lawyer now.
Okay. Counsel,
you understand?
Counsel, most grateful.
We should not.
This is emotional. This is not emotional talk.
It's a matter.
It's not an emotional talk.
Yes.
See, no. It's a matter. This is a matter. No, listen.
We are discussing.
There is a matter.
Policy.
No, this is a matter. It's a policy. But our policy is also being shaped by our personal experiences in life. You understand? It's policy. The president haven't sat down to talk things through.
But doing shoe shine is a luxury. Don't you know that?
Please.
Shoe shine.
Really briefly.
How can it be a luxury?
Briefly.
The point that we are making is that
some of us,
at the end of the day, every child ought to be in school. Their future will be better than where we find ourselves now.
Thank you.
You are sharing your experience about shoe shine. Shoe shine is even a luxury. Do you know Wallan to Wallansa? That's what some of us do. You see, I can understand your question. The practicability of implementing such a legislation? Is it going to be a wholesale? So from JSS, nobody's repeated, no failure? Because you're saying that free education for all. Now, the law must indicate how some people will not be left out. Else, there are natural reasons, there are a lot of reasons why some people will be left out. So, if you say you see school children, why don't you have basic education to be free? Yet, don't we see children of basic school loitering in town? Why haven't we dealt with that?
And should they be there?
Why haven't we dealt with that? And we are going to the next level. Is that a priority? So I think that you have your question is relevant, the practicability of implementing the question. And they must come again. You know, typical of them, they will throw out something, they won't tell you how it is going to be done. You'll be asking questions, they'll be coming piecemeal, we'll do this, piecemeal. And when we asked that, where were you going to get the money to implement the free SHS? We were acting as citizens and asking relevant questions. That doesn't mean that we're against it.
Okay, I think the point has been made well clear on, you know, the how it's going to be done. Not that they were against it, because from all indications, the NDC also had this in mind, but they just felt that we were not financially ready at this point. Remember also that the provision of progressively free education and all those things, and the provision of free compulsory education and the likes, falls under the directive principles of state policy, which says that as long as the country can achieve it. So they are just raising questions. The NDC at this point, the minority are just raising questions about the practicability based on our finances.
But don't forget that with the principle of progressively free.
It's not our principle.
Please, let me make my point.
It's not our policy.
By that process, all right, by that implication, it means that certain cases will be left out of the equation. You get a point. By the fact that the thing was progressive, it means certain people will be left out of the equation. They will not be in school. And where would they go? Where would they go? That is the catch of the matter. And by this principle or this policy, every child who ought to be at school going age, you must be in school.
You see, but as a government,
so that's no matter.
No, Gary, yes. as a government, as a president, is very nice to come out with such free this, free that is nice. If your citizens had the chance, everything would be free. But then whether it is practicable is another, because we said we're doing free national health insurance, but how successful has it been? Over the last few months or so, we had the director of National Health Insurance Scheme coming out or seeking for more funds, asking for 3.5 increase in the NHIL levy. So it says that even in the health we are saying is free, we are facing challenges. Now we want to make education also free. If you look in the papers right now, contractors are also complaining. Get Fund contractors are saying they've not been paid. At the University of Energy, the contractors have stopped work and the likes. So it means that we have financial challenges. So I think all the NDC are saying is that, can we carry this along? That's all. That's all the issue is. They are not saying that we do not want education. I've not met a single NDC communicator or representative who said that we don't want free SHS. They are just saying that, can we do it? Are we ready?
You have not followed their discourse.
They have not.
You have not followed their discourse. You haven't followed their discourse. Look, the bottom line, irrespective of the challenges, this policy ought to be implemented to its fullest extent. Do you know in the UK, primary school is free, and in the UK, secondary school is free. University, you have to pay for it. In fact, before, university was free. But now, university, you must pay some bursaries, agreement you must pay. Education, by and large, having we seen what is going on now, is now a very crucial that every government ought to ensure that your citizens are better educated. That's the only way to go. You see, the fact that you are having challenges in implementation does not mean that you might relate to the background at all.
I think the worry that some people have is that it shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all, right? So there are people who can afford to pay, let them pay. There are children out there that even though they can get school for free, education for free, they will still go outside and sell bread to eat, right? So we should also put all these realities into.
Are you saying that the policy should be discriminatory?
Okay, discrimination.
That's not what we're saying.
Remember, equals must be treated equally. That about equals must be treated equally. Thank you very much.
We do have to go for a quick break, and then we'll continue. Stay tuned.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
I said, property tax, I will pay. If you come to my house, I'll cut you a check. But when did I do my presentation? February.
Yes.
Or February, yes, sometime. Nobody has come to my house.
Really?
Ghana is broke. And, that's the reality we must all come to live with.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV.
Welcome back to Breakfast Daily and still the news review segment for today. And we are indeed joined by two very, very strong lawyers, Gary Nimakon and, of course, Abraham Amaleba of the NPP and NDC, respectively. And earlier, we were talking about the free SHS, the fact that the president intends to make it compulsory as well. So not just free SHS, but also it being compulsory. And now there's also another interesting story here, page 3 of the Daily Heritage.
Yes, so I'm going to read that briefly. Public servants to lose jobs for not acquiring Ghana card. The Chief Executive Officer of the Public Sector Reform, Mr. Thomas Kusi Boafo, has sounded a note of caution to all Ghanaians, especially public sector workers, to register for the new Ghana card or risk losing their jobs. Let's hear your initial reaction to that.
I am surprised at this threat coming from the officer. What is his name?
Boafo.
Boafo. I'm surprised at that because the Ghana card does not confirm citizenship on you. In fact, the Constitution does not even confer citizenship on you. The Constitution guarantees your citizenship. It means that your citizenship is in existence and the Constitution comes and says, I affirm it. So why is it then compulsory for Ghanaians to acquire the card? I understand that that card will be the basic document for transacting business. If that were it, I would have thought that it will be enough punishment already if you don't acquire it, because then if you are going to transact business, you'll be limited. Why would I lose my job? Simply because I have not acquired the card. What is the rationale? So he may have to come the second time and tell us the rationale for that threat. And I also think that there's a need for citizens to also brace themselves up to challenge some of these obnoxious policies that when people have the opportunity to become officers of the state, want to foist on people. You have no such right to dismiss people because they have no cards. For what reason? And so I take his threat as blowing hot air. I just think that he wants to coerce the workers to go and register. It is left with them to decide whether they want to register or not. But I do not think that if this matter goes to court and that some people were dismissed because they didn't acquire the Ghana card, the court would uphold it. The court would throw it away, because I do not think that that's the basis upon which somebody must have his employment.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your story is quite scanty. You didn't tell us why.
Well,
why
he said, okay, let me quote him first. He says, the reform we're pushing at the public sector are very important, and per the new reform strategy documents will be easily identified and recognized as either Ghanaian or non-Ghanaians. So those that fail those who fail to get the card will lose their jobs as public servants. So what he's saying is,
so non-Ghanaian,
if you have the card, then it's easy to identify you, because remember, we're using the birth certificate and the passport to be able to identify you as a Ghanaian.
I have my doubts.
Okay, and he also goes on to say that per the new arrangement, we cannot employ foreigners beyond certain limits, except or consultants who are difficult to find in the country. And he's also gone to say that they visited places like Rwanda, others have gone to Morocco, Switzerland, Singapore, South Korea, and Botswana, and they've all proved better. So they've visited a few countries that have done similar things.
I still have my doubts.
I feel it may not be doubts that you have. You just do not agree with this.
No, don't put words in my mouth. You see, we are lawyers, and we know, because I may have to gather a bit more information as to the rationale for that statement.
It's an entity
because
I understand.
Being Ghanaian, I'm never wonder. See, I'm on my feet and truncating my thoughts.
Go on.
Being a Ghanaian or non-Ghanaian may not necessarily guarantee your right to employment. Because there may be criteria for the employment opportunity for the person. So this story in particular, I think we may have to leave it for now. Let's go and get some further clarification on it, because I do not think that the mere acquisition of Ghana card can make you employable.
Okay.
All right. If you acquire a Ghana card and we need certain specific skills or qualifications for a specific job, and you don't qualify, will you be employed?
No.
Obviously no. So I think that
no, but it's just one of the requirements.
I think what he's saying is
the reportage. You see, maybe the reportage is sometimes we are careful to rely on newspaper reportage, because possibly the angle the person may have come from may not be a reflection of what exactly the person might have meant. So I think that basically, I know Mr. Boff very well. I'll call him and find out what he really meant by that statement. Whether indeed he meant by, if you don't have a Ghana card, it makes you unemployable. Or you don't have a Ghana card, you can lose your employment.
We will read the quotes.
And on what basis?
We'll read the quotes as in exactly what Mr. Boffo said, as reported by the story.
Let me see. Read it. Let me see.
There's a place he was saying that
I can make
it will determine whether you are a Ghanaian or not a Ghanaian.
Yes.
Yeah, but being a Ghanaian or non-Ghanaian,
these are public servants who they've already acquired their jobs. It's not that they are now applying for the job. They've acquired the job, and he's saying, perhaps if you use your voter's ID to get whatever it is, now you have your birth certificate and your passport, so we can guarantee that you are actually a Ghanaian. So I'll quote him, the reforms we are pushing.
Let me ask you a question. What do you go to look for a job? Do you carry voter ID card to look for a job?
I'm saying the Ghana card.
No, I'm asking a question.
No.
To look for a job, do you carry voter ID card?
You shouldn't ask me. You should ask him.
Or do you carry?
You should ask him.
That's what I'm saying, that the reportage as it contains there.
Can I quickly just read? Can I just quote him quickly? Yes. So he says the reforms we are pushing at the public sector are very important. And per the new reform, strategic documents will be easily identified and recognized as either Ghanaian or not. And so those who fail to get the card will lose their jobs as public servants.
I doubt the story. Okay. I doubt the story.
You won't condemn him.
I said I doubt the story.
Okay, so assuming without admitting that it's true, what would be your position on this?
I'm saying that if you are looking for employment in Ghana, all right, the prerequisite for looking for employment is not be whether you are just a Ghanaian or not a Ghanaian. It's because you qualify for the job.
So if it's true, you don't agree with this.
He's saying they are public servants, so they already have the job.
So
now he's validating that now we have certain things that will make it easier for us to identify that you're actually a Ghanaian and you deserve to keep this job. Right, so it's not to apply for the job.
Maybe not to conjecture. Maybe I think that he was trying to just reemphasize the importance of the Ghana card. All right, to every Ghanaian in a public service to acquire, but not necessarily because you don't have a Ghana card. It will be a condition precedent to lose your job. That one I doubt it. How is it going to be possible? Because the fact of your being in the public service is not necessarily because you are a Ghanaian or you are not non-Ghanaian, because you qualify for the job. You understand? So I think that basically it's about telling people that, look, you need to get a Ghana card. You know, so that at least you can validate your information with us. Because with the Ghana card, they can now see your tax, they can see your national insurance, they can see your address in your home, your citizenship, and all manner of things. So,
but it's still okay to keep the job if you don't have the Ghana card.
I do not think that the mere fact that a person, you see, when you talk like this one, the legal brain works differently. You see, if you don't have a Ghana card, it doesn't make you non-qualified to be employed. That's the way I understand it, or to be dismissed. I don't think so.
Okay.
Bottom line,
he does not agree. If it's true, you don't agree. I think that's what we are getting from what you're saying.
So let's leave it at that. But I think I will find out from him to get further and better particulars.
And the impression being created that you must acquire the card to prove your citizenship. No, to prove your citizenship is false. It's a fallacy.
Yeah.
Even the Constitution will tell you that all those who were Ghanaians before the coming into force of the Constitution remain Ghanaians. Yes. So the Constitution itself knows that 1992 Constitution, Ghana did not start 1999, 1992. Ghana existed. So it's not the Constitution that's even giving you the citizenship. Because you were a citizen before even the Constitution.
So why do we need the card?
So ask them.
Of course, you need a card.
Now,
the Ghana card as it stands now, and the information that you should make sure you can, if you have the card now, the information on it, your tax is there, your address is there, your birth certificate information, everything is there.
But if I can function just fine without it, why do I need it?
No, you see, we must have a centralized system of knowing people who live in this country, knowing people who is paying taxes, who is not paying taxes. You see, a lot of information is captured in the Ghana card.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a very important document.
I think it will even help fight crime as well.
Exactly. Everybody's data must be captured so we can find out who we are dealing with. Look, the similar card is in the UK as I speak to you. You have the citizens and the non-citizen card. Okay, and some give to the EEC citizens, some give to the citizens, and some give to the foreigners who are there. So we can know your data, who you are. When you swipe the card, they know who you are dealing with.
Okay.
You know, so you must have a synchronized system of identification.
Okay.
You get the point. But I have my doubt that if you don't have a Ghana card, it will be a basis for dismissal of you.
Okay, I think we can move away from that now. I'll just read a few messages before we go on to our next story. We are fulfilling our promises. That is coming from the president. Now, my message here from, the name is not. It says, tell Honorable Amaliba that availability of free, as stated in the Constitution he read, isn't the same as compulsory as proposed by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Well, I think we have already dealt with that issue. Also, another message here says there is tension in Ghana Armed Forces. Daily Post reports tension in CAGD. Today newspaper reports why tension everywhere. Are we safe? Especially Ghana Armed Forces. This is coming from David in Kwesimintin. Now, another message here also says, please ask Gary, this free SHS thing, does it cover non-Ghanaians? John is writing from Nungwa. So these are quite a few of the messages that have come through. Remember to keep your messages coming with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and of course on WhatsApp 0550-585-832.
Yes.
So we'll move on straight to our next story.
The next story I'm going to read
which
from
of the messages later.
citynewsroom.com. We are fulfilling our promises. That's coming from the president. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo says he's fulfilling promises that he and the New Patriotic Party made to Ghanaians in the run-up to the December 2016 election. Now, I'm quoting him. The work that we promised to do, the promises I made during the campaign period, I believe that all Ghanaians can attest to the fact that they were not idle promises, but rather promises that I honestly believed that I could fulfill. Once I won power, that's come from the president, those who said we could not do it, they have been put to shame. Very soon we will pass legislation that stipulates that every child in Ghana should go to school up to the senior high school level at least. We don't want dropouts. This way everyone can find meaningful employment in this country. We have reduced electricity tariffs as well, so as to bring relief to individual households as well as businesses. Your thoughts on that?
You see, this president is always quick to want to tout his credentials. I asked Mr. President, where is the one dam one village. Or is it one village, one dam?
One village, one dam.
I asked Mr. President, where are the factories? This president will never learn. You've given promises.
The words are quite harsh.
You said worse things to Mahama.
No, when you say we'll never learn, we'll never learn. I mean, come on.
Well, Mahama had blood.
No, Mr. Host, with all respect,
Okay,
please.
When you say we'll never learn, I mean, these are not words that should be allowable on this show.
Yes, but to be fair, I don't think he has insulted the
president. The president will never learn.
You said that
language is a fair language.
The implication may be wrong, so let's
not say because somebody did something
let's
on this platform.
Please, he'll just go on. He'll correct himself, and we'll just move on. That's fine. Amaliba, please go on.
It's not about me and you.
No, but when we sit on the show and I'm there,
for the benefit of our viewers,
at least the language that you are using,
Gary, that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine. Will never learn, please, Amaliba.
Gary,
with all respect,
Gary, that's fine.
With all respect to you,
Amaliba, please go on.
You know that, please.
You know, I am.
You know what to do.
I know I am agape because these are people who ran down President Mahama, ran him down completely to the extent that Mahama's name became incompetent. And these are the people today.
When you say someone is incompetent,
nobody should say anything. Once you are the president, you must take criticisms. Yeah?
Amaliba is incompetent and insult.
I think incompetent is a bit more harsh than we'll never learn. So, Gary, let's not do this. Please let him finish. Please go on, Amaliba.
Please continue.
Now, what are we talking about?
The president will never learn.
So, you see, you have made a lot of promises prior to you becoming president.
Yes.
One would have expected that you concentrate on delivery. And when you deliver, the people themselves will point at those deliverables. But here we are. Even having not fulfilled those promises, he continues to promise. Now, you don't know whether this is a president who is taking Ghanaians for a ride or that this is a president who genuinely thinks that Ghanaians are so gullible that when you continue promising, they will begin to continue to vote for you. Why am I saying this? You went to Cape Coast. No, not Cape, but Central Region. Some parts in the Central Region near late Professor Mills village, and cut a sword for a factory. As we speak today, that whole area is overgrown with weeds. You made a promise that by the end of last year, 2016, a number of factories would have mushroomed. As we sit now, there isn't. What they are doing for their one factory is begging people who already have some existing factories to hook on to the program, and then he goes there and then cuts sword. And so it is difficult when you hear the president speak about new things coming, and then you begin to think that no, this is not a president you can trust, because already the fact that he's not be able to provide for those promises makes it difficult for anybody to trust him. So I think that it is now left for Ghanaians to be critically minded and to assess whatever the president says, because I see that he will continue doing it. He will not change. He has promised that by the end of this year, when he was I think he's still in Kumasi, by the end of this year, the Kumasi roads will be improved. I apply that road to the north. I hope you invite me by the end of this year, and I'll come and we'll have a chat about the road.
Okay.
You see, my brother, let the point you make clear. One, the president has a 4-year mandate to run. Now it's been a year and let me say 8 months. A year and 8 months only. Now, it's not even half the term. Now, less than half the term, the full implementation of free SHS, devoid of all its challenges that is going through. it's been implemented to its full extent. Less than this 1 year and 8 months, abolition of new sand taxes. Less than 1 year and 8 months, we have seen that there have been reduction of domestic consumption of power. The tax on it has been reduced 30%, and corporate one has also been reduced. Less than 2 years of the same term, you see a concerted effort, an attempt by the president to make sure that the mandate given to him by the people of Ghana will be delivered to its full extent. Now, what are you talking about that the president is lying to Ghanaians? You see a commitment to ensure that he delivers on the mandate. Look at the Kumasi that you just mentioned. I've been in Kumasi back and forth for the past almost 3-5 months. The roads were so bad. And then you wonder.
Kumasi roads are bad.
You wonder. Yes. Hey. Go to Kumasi. You wonder whether within the 8-year rule of President Mills and President Mahama together, they even did anything to the Kumasi roads. There were manholes, not even potholes. Manholes within Kumasi and its presence. Manholes. And you see a president who has come and said, look, I'm going to ensure that I improve these roads. And he went there over the weekend. All right? And they started full implementation of asphalting some of the roads. And you said the man is not doing his work. Look, the president keeps saying, he said, by the end of my 4-year mandate, every promise I've given to Ghanaians, I'll make sure I fulfill it. Just wait and see. And I have no doubt in my mind that by the time the 4-year time runs its full extent, Amalaba will come to me and say, Jobo, Gary Jobo, take your stone. I'm telling you, you will come. And that's the time this man will convert himself and come and join us. Because I can assure him. You see, sometimes it is not about. You see, sometimes it's not about just making the noise or shouting or whatever. It's about what you are actually doing on the ground. That's the important thing.
Okay.
What are you doing on the ground? So wait. Take your time and wait. But you see, from what we are seeing now, clearly I can assure you, when the government is halfway its term, and then 3 years down the term, and then 4 years down the term, you will see the manifestation of the good works of Nana Akufo-Addo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll just touch on the next story briefly.
The next story,
so we'll just take brief
reading
comments.
from citynewsroom.com. Dansoman, 4 police officers, 2 civilians shot by robbers. So we talked about the story earlier where armed robbers hurt not only civilians but policemen in Dansoman.
Yes, I think that it's becoming one too many to have our personnel, police personnel, being on the line of firing. In the past, we just knew that armed robbery would take place, and when the police come around, they are able to foil it or they escape. But now, they are actually exchanging fire, and I don't need to sit here and recount the number of police personnel who have lost their lives through that reckless and dastardly act. I think that there is something that is making them so emboldening them to stand with the police and do that by exchanging fire with the police. If they can do that to the police, what can they do to ordinary citizens like us? And so even the watchman who is supposed to protect us himself is now a target. Have we lost it? And this is coming at a time when we have a government that is so security conscious and has national security coordinator, and the security apparatus is so huge, and yet these things are happening. Is it that the police as an institution also has not been able to come up to speed with current trends of fighting crime? Because I am thinking that the days that the policeman will have to be run very fast and apprehend the thief is gone. And that now is intellect and intelligence gathering. How much have they done in that area? How come that the police is unable to put in place mechanism strategies that will give them early warning signals so that they can curb the situation before it even goes out of hand? So I'm just putting this out. I'm not an expert, but I'm just teasing these things out for them to look at how they can deal with it.
Thank you for the brief comment. Final comment from Gary.
I think this is not a palatable story to hear, obviously. I mean, you see the policeman who's to protect us, rather now being also under siege, by armed robbers. It's not a good thing. But I think that by and large, these armed robbers, they live among us. They are with us in the community. I think we should do more of citizen vigilantism, in some of these things. The people who are living with us, who know the armed robbers, they must expose them to the police. They must report them. If you report them, the police can't take steps to apprehend them. I'm told that this story, they were rather being, police were rather going there to, effect arrest. Yeah. And then they just chance upon the police and then attack the police without being prepared that in fact that were actually in the vicinity where the thing happened. It's unfortunate. But I think that by and large, the IGP and the security agencies must take copious steps to ensure that they train our people and equip them with requisite skills. Because it's very unfortunate that for somebody who is supposed to protect us, he'd rather be under siege in this manner. And the citizens too must ensure. Look, in other jurisdictions, I keep using as examples. You see old ladies and you see old men in their little cubicles and all that, and they watch around the vicinity or the compound. And they report suspicious activities. They report it. And you'll be there, the police will just bring their ambulance and they will come and arrest you. They'll go and question you.
They'll bring their police car.
If they have one.
You said the police will bring their ambulance.
Well, then arrest you. If they go and question you and they realize that there's nothing wrong with it, they will leave you. But at least I think we must be proactive, because we should not always be fighting fire. We should rather make sure that people. But here, I don't know. Sometimes,
but our policemen well resourced. Like my co-host said earlier, that you go to the policeman and he expects you to take the taxi for him to come to your aid.
Yeah, I think that is a matter for all of us to discuss as a nation. I think police being resourced didn't start from today, and every government I think has done its bit. But we'll urge on the government of the day to ensure that the police is well resourced. Because sometimes, yes, I agree with you. You go to the police station, they say go and take a taxi and all that. It's not the best. It's not the best. I think that there should be, a very conscious effort to ensure that the police are well resourced, better trained, better equipped, so that they can protect all of us. But the citizens themselves must offer information. If you know that somebody who's your neighbor, somebody sitting close to you is an armed robber, you must report the person. Or engage in a criminal activity, report the person. So that they can
the police
take
cannot
steps.
be trusted for keeping that information as well. Police have been found leaking out information. And
so we need to work on all those angles.
Yes. Thank you
very much. And I think it's a fantastic point, because armed robbers do not live in isolation. They are known by people who may not of themselves be armed robbers. So they should put out such information to help us all as a nation. Thank you very much. We're joined by Gary Nimakon. He is a member of the NPP legal team. And of course, Abraham Amaleba is also a very respected member as well, also in the NDC legal team. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. Remember to keep your messages coming through on all social media platforms with the hashtag Breakfast Daily, and of course not forgetting the WhatsApp line
0550585832. Up next, we're going to learn about the place of women in agribusiness in Ghana's economy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good evening, this is The Point of View. We're live on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, you know, and I think that that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Affle, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV. For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
It's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
I know about that photo, saying Tim Titi who I go talk to, yeah. This is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily, ground up to the top, boy.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
My name is Juliet Asantua Asante. Keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Hina cry na mensurono era dini miha mensuro panipi every Eratini mihan and naming quanti oh hina cry na mensurono eratini mihan oh
Owanweni indeed. I cannot wait to hear the story of the woman behind the voice, Enyo Nyam. We're going to hear more about her later on. But before the break, I told you that we were going to learn about the place of women in agribusiness in Ghana's economy. Now, at the World Economic Forum meeting in Davos last year, global leaders from across the world came together to deliberate on some of the most pressing issues of our time, such as agriculture and food security in particular, and greater social inclusion. With the global population projected to rise more than 9 billion by 2050, and the demand for food expected to jump sharply, the need for addressing the challenges of food security assumes greater urgency than before. There's also a growing need to adopt stronger measures to reduce the gender gap. Women shouldn't have to wait 170 years to bridge the divide. Women comprise over 40% of agricultural labor force worldwide and play a major role in the agriculture sector. Yet, we face a variety of constraints, such as financial constraints and networks. As the report shows, an increasing number of companies now recognize that investing in women can help increase companies' bottom line while improving the lives of people in rural areas. Today we're going to look at agriculture and the way of the role women play in it in Ghana. Now, ToolScale is one of the largest incubators of exclusive agribusiness in Africa. They built over 50 public-private partnerships in selected high-potential product groups in 9 countries in Africa. We're going to learn more about them, but first, let's really understand agribusiness, Ghana's economy, and the role women play in it. I'm joined by Jennifer Agyemang, who's an agric business consultant at Focus on Skill and Business Development for Women in the Sector. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you doing?
Good. Now, tell us a bit about the agric sector in Ghana in general. I know growing up, we saw a lot of the women in agric as our mothers, right? They were participating.
Yes.
But then on the higher level, sometimes you see more men than women. So just let us know in general.
Absolutely, you're right. On the farms, many women are working. When you go to the market, many women are selling. What tends to happen, however, is that they're not the decision makers. And if they're not making the decisions, it means they're not the ones making the income. Because normally if you make those decisions, you make more money. And so what we need to really consider is that if women are this involved in it, why are they not benefiting from their skill, from their time? And you gave some very good examples as to the reasons why. Things like finance are an issue, and this whole idea of having a network. And sometimes there's a bit of a mindset that, okay, farming is for men, is a man's job. Why do you want to be making these decisions? But in Ghana, for example, we're over half the population, and worldwide there are more women entrepreneurs in Ghana than anywhere else. So why can't we tap into this huge potential of what agribusiness and agric can offer? So basically, it's about taking the raw materials and adding value. We've always had a challenge with adding value. People come and take our produce, they add value, and they make lots of money. Very often, we import it back into the country and make the money. The whole idea with what we're doing is to help women understand how they can be processors. They can get outgrowers to grow for them, when they can either sell it or process it, whether it's cassava into gari or so many other products. Package it well and make it more marketable, because there's so much potential in that space which we're not tapping into yet.
So speaking of women participating at the very bottom of the supply chain, why is it important to have this conversation on agribusiness now? How does that help the conversation?
I mean, we do know that agriculture is one of the foundations of our economy, and not just the nation but in the world. In many years we could all go hungry, and SDG goal 2 is about zero hunger. And so if we have land and we have people who need work, why not combine the two? And the real issue is women should not be prevented from entering it if they so wish. It's just that very often they haven't got the technical know-how or the support or the finances. But being a woman alone shouldn't be a barrier to you in any way into entering the sector. And there are women doing very well in the area, which I found out very recently. So it's great.
Tell us some success stories you've heard.
Okay, can I mention company names?
Sure.
Okay, so Eden Tree, Catherine Kobradu says she's been around for about 20 years. She recently had a foreign partner. She's totally scaling up her business. There's Home Foods, Madame Felicia Entry. There's a lady I met in Swejo. She has 25,000 birds, chickens.
Wow.
And she wants to have 60,000 in a few years' time. She's turning over millions. I hope she's great.
Wow. So what differentiates these women from our mothers in the farms who are probably just picking shea nuts instead of creating shea butter?
Yes.
What have you noticed that differentiates them from the regular farmers?
That's a great question, because that's the whole idea of speaking to them and interviewing them. I think it's just the belief that I can do it. And even people say to me, you can't make money out of this. Why do you want to be growing pepper and selling and plantain? Why are you rearing chickens? Why do you need to be on a cocoa farm? They're saying, I want to do it, I can see the potential in doing it, and I can do it. And they're not letting people kind of stop them and say to them, well, you're either a graduate or you used to work in a bank, because these days, these white collar jobs aren't guaranteed. They never were, but now it's more obvious. And so I think it's the belief that, look, this is something I can go into. I can speak to some people. It'll be challenging. Don't get me wrong. They've all had ups and downs, but they haven't given up. They've been persistent and resilient, and that's the key thing. And apparently, women also are more financially disciplined. Yes, that's no, we don't do the whole boys and we're going to sit. Sitting doesn't happen. And so these women have taken their children through school, sometimes on their own. Yes, they've had to put in lots of hard work, early rises, late nights, but they've done it and they've kept good records, and it's helped them to either get partnerships or just really make a lot of money from it. So I think it's a great idea for women to do.
So speaking of these women that you mentioned, do we have an enough efficient system to encourage more women to think agribusiness and not just farming? What have you noticed so far?
Okay, so in terms of the system, it's really about technical know-how and machinery. And so yes, when we have good power, it helps. When there's water flowing, it helps. When the roads are good, it helps. Infrastructure plays a big role. However, we need not wait for all those parameters to be perfect before we go and do it. So like I said, these women have made it in spite of those challenges. When Catherine started, for example, she literally grew herbs in her backyard. She took it to one of at the time, the big store, and overnight everything sold out.
Wow.
If she hadn't taken that risk and grown herbs, because she'd come back from the UK and she couldn't get fresh herbs to purchase anywhere, and so she had the idea to do this. If she hadn't taken that bold step and said, let me wait till it's booming everywhere, she never would be where she is today. So yes, there are some challenges in the system. However, if you take the right step, and that's the whole idea of what we're doing, we're trying to get women who've been through these experiences to share their stories. I always lament, as Ghanaians, we don't share our stories enough to inspire others, to guide them, to take the hand and say, look, I've done it, you can do it too. So if more women can share their stories and share their journeys, we may not have to make the same mistakes they made. And so we can basically stand on their shoulders and grow our business. But the key thing is to make it more professional. If a business isn't professional enough, you won't get your FDA approved certification. You won't get shops taking it up. Nobody's going to want to export it. And so those are the things we need to really, really support these women to be able to do. And then they can really be as wealthy. I mean, in the West, farmers are millionaires.
True.
So why don't we have cocoa farmers who are millionaires? So why don't we have people who are growing cashew nuts and peanuts and doing shea butter as millionaires? It's our fault. We have to take full responsibility.
So are we operating at our full capacity? Like you rightly mentioned, in the West, a farmer would be rolling in millions because they at least have tariffs that are protecting them against imports, whereas in Ghana we can say all day long, buy chocolate, let's manufacture here, but then you find a local chocolate brand, maybe 20 cities, and then you can get a Snicker bar for 5 cities, right? So how are we also on the policy level ensuring that when women do go into agribusiness and when we do start manufacturing all the produce that we have here, that we are incentivizing the consumers to actually buy our local products?
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, for a long time, we've been very much an import economy. We just like the idea of bringing things in. But I believe that is changing, and there are many different government initiatives. The whole thing about Planting for Food and Jobs. If you go to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, they have a women's directorate that actually help these women to package better, to use more nutritional values and so on. And so there are definitely things being done. As far as tariffs, I can't give you figures. However, there is a lot. I mean, since I got onto this project, I found that there's so much out there. So anybody who's interested, just go and do the research. Go to the agribusiness unit at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Go and speak to the women. Go and find technical offers. Go to crops. Just go and start doing the work. And as you do so, you'll find that there's lots of support out there. The grant-making bodies who will give you some financing. Obviously, you have to be ready. You have to be investment ready. But again, you can get guidance on all of those things. So I think the issue again is we don't have to wait till the government does everything. What are you interested in? What can you do now? And in the rural areas, for example, there are many farmer-based organizations who are coming together, putting their money together, putting their land together, acquiring land, and actually doing this. And so the issue is, yes, in an ideal world, it'd be so easy to get up and say, yes, I'm from Ghana, I have a farm, I can export overnight. But that's not going to happen. You've got to work at it. You've got to get your books up straight. You've got to get your technical know-how. Legon are running a course in the next few weeks on Greenhouses. Greenhouses, yes.
Wow.
A 2-week course. I'm doing a bit of marketing for them. A 2-week course, very, very reasonable. Get knowledge. Don't sit and wait for somebody to say to you, take it. Go and get it, especially the women, because I'm about to go into agribusiness myself.
Nice.
There's so much potential in the market, you wouldn't believe it. And so, yes, tariffs may be not as good as they should be. However, there are women breaking these barriers, overcoming them, and making it. Plot Ghana in Takoradi does cocoa processing. They export. They do all kinds of products. Home foods I mentioned earlier. The examples are there. It's up to us to emulate and follow these wonderful role models.
Okay. Now, do we in Ghana, do we understand the business of agriculture? Because sometimes, right, like you rightly mentioned, when you hear agriculture, thinking of people in the rural areas who are just doing it out of necessity, right, and not really thinking of it as business. They're only doing it because that's the only form of income that they have. Have we grasped that business side of agriculture as a country?
I believe we have a long way to go because, like you said, it's been about sustenance farming. We farm a little bit, enough to eat, a little bit left over. Maybe we can give it to our neighbors. We can do a bit of barter, and it stops there. And so it's about a mindset shift. Once they know they can make money from it and, they can get good storage, good transportation, somebody will take it off. Because very often, too, people are exploited. Because the farmers don't often understand agribusiness, they're taken for granted. So, yes, we do have to educate them. We do have to support. We do have to build networks. We do have to help them get the goods from the farm to processing, get it packaged and done whatever. So there's a lot of work to do. But again, this value chain gap you've mentioned creates opportunity. Who is it that understands what can be done and is willing to teach these farmers so that they can benefit and the farmers can also benefit? Partnerships are so possible in these areas if we're able to pursue them.
Okay, now let's look at on a global scale.
Yes.
Would you say that we're at a place where we can finally compete with global brands? Because I think 61 years ago you wouldn't have any of these names that you've even mentioned, but today they are coming up slowly and gradually. So are we starting a revolution of just agribusiness to the world of some sort?
I mean, I'd like to say yes. Is it the president of African Development Bank?
Yes.
Adesina said, the market will be worth like $3 billion in 2030. $3 trillion, and he's saying the future billionaires are going to be farmers. So that should help get us thinking. So I don't think we're there yet. However, the potential is a reality, and so let's tap into it. And again, to be able to compete on an international level, you've got to have your standards in place. When was the thing manufactured? What's the nutritional value? What's the shelf life? What does it contain? Has it got any allergens? You can't just package your dairy in a plastic container and send it somewhere. I mean, nobody will receive it. So if we want to be competitive globally, we do have to raise our standards. And I think everybody has a part to play in that. If you're even a local buyer and you buy a product and you don't know what's in it, you shouldn't really purchase it or ask them, why don't you get this certified? There's the FDA, the Standards Board. We have institutions who are there to help us do better on these things. Because if we don't, then we'll constantly be able to trust the foreign brands better. Because there's a certain level of confidence knowing that this thing has been checked. Maybe it's got a certain standard. So you feel safe. You don't want to be buying food and falling sick. I've got 3 young children. I don't want to be giving them food that they can fall sick from. So if I have confidence in a local brand, of course I'll support my local produce. It's our home. We need to help each other out. But we need to do the right thing at the same time because that makes us more competitive. So in the future, I would like to say yes, we're competitive globally. As of now, I think we're on our way.
Wow. Okay. Why is it important or necessary for us to pay attention to women in agribusiness? Because when you go to the rural areas, you usually see that the woman is catering for the family and the men just go to the farm, and maybe on market day the woman will take a few of these products to sell, but that's where it ends. So why is it important for us to start including women in the agribusiness conversation, not just agriculture?
Yeah, I think it's because for a long time we just haven't raised the subject. We've pushed it aside. However, a lot of the men actually also aren't interested in that. So there's a huge hole. Somebody needs to fill it. And there are enough women who are either at home, and actually when you're in agribusiness, because of the flexibility it offers, it can be good for you if you're raising young children. Some of these
tell me
women,
more.
yes, these women I've spoken to. So, for example, one of the women I spoke to, she said in the morning she'd wake up, go to the farm, but then she had somebody at home taking care of the children, and then she'd come back, get them ready, take them to school, come back. There's a bit of flexibility. If you're working in a bank, you can't be doing this back and forth.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so I think the advantage is it has good potential for you, whether you're at home with children or even unmarried. You have the flexibility to do that. And I think also, like you said, we've always been involved in providing and producing food. So why can't we be along the chain? What should stop us? And it purely may be because it's not attractive or sexy enough, or it's not glamorous enough, or as a woman, why do you want to be at a cassava farm and speaking to farmers? And sometimes also the farmers don't enjoy taking instructions from women.
You're kidding.
Yes, you know, sometimes culturally they have
Yes.
an issue, a challenge with that. So again, those things may be barriers, but I'm all about breaking the barriers. Let's just remove them. And if women are doing well in society, you know, we know the famous Agri saying, educate a man, you educate an individual, educate a woman, you educate a whole nation. If a woman is into agribusiness, the benefits far outweigh a man being in it. And again, the women doing it wonderfully. What's stopping the rest of us?
Okay, so is the issue of women in agribusiness a global concern? What are the specific concerns where Ghana is in the context of Ghana?
I think globally, there are probably more men in agribusiness than women. I would assume that. But I think the challenge we have here, because the technical know-how, the infrastructure, the process just may seem a bit more convoluted and just more hard work, it could be off-putting. Because we don't have a lot of the mechanized ways of doing things and the processing. So it's like it's laborious. You know, as a woman, you don't want to be carrying. However, once you have the money and you can afford to pay the workers and you know what you're doing, it becomes a lot easier. You know, it hasn't got to be a physical thing. It's about mindset and the skill. And these skills are very learnable. Anybody can acquire them. You know, you have to maybe learn about climate, a bit about soil, or just even be a good leader and manager so that you can to hold your staff accountable, because you know you can put people in place who are technically savvy and experienced and they're expert to do the job. But if you don't have access to this expertise, then you run the risk of your business going down, and then very often you just blame yourself. And so I think it's just about giving women the right support. How do they, you know, keep accounts? How do they turn the soil? How do they do everything that it takes to run a business successfully? But in this case, it's an agribusiness. It's a business to do with food and production and sales rather than something else that they may be doing otherwise.
Now, we see that the urban areas are overpopulated.
Yes.
Is agribusiness going to spark this interest of urban-rural migration? Because as I'm talking to you, I'm seeing all the problems we've discussed. There are opportunities for people interested in IT, accountants. So how do we start not only educating women in rural areas, right, about agribusiness, but also getting those in the urban areas interested in seeing the agri sector as a place that they can actually, you know, help grow?
Yes, I think we start with awareness. People may just not know that there's this huge potential and they can make money and they can have the flexibility and still live a good life if they're into agribusiness. So awareness is key. And then real support. I may know it's a good business to go into. I may want to go into it. But what if I don't have the money? I don't have any land. I don't know what to grow. I don't know where to go. It would just be frustrating. So awareness is important, and then real support. And then you mentioned earlier in your introduction, a network. There's nothing more powerful and beautiful than women working together, supporting each other. That strong network. I've recently joined a few agribusiness hub platforms on WhatsApp, and it's incredible how much knowledge, support, and expertise is out there. And so if you know you can tap into this, of course your confidence will be boosted. Of course you're more likely to take the risk because you don't feel like you're going to be left alone in the dark and struggling. So awareness, the right technical know-how, support, and a network of women or men, because don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with men supporting women in the sector. It's just that when women are able to share, because we feel like we have more in common, if we're able to share some of our, our ups, our downs, and also if the men are able to encourage us, then we will do well. But yes, I believe the potential is there, but people have to know it's there, and they have to be given enough information that they can make an informed choice, and the risks aren't too high compared to the returns that they stand to gain. Because people want to be able to, make it worth balance, exactly, make it worthwhile. Exactly.
So what are some revenue generating potential you've seen within the sector for women?
It's huge. So if you're able to get outgrowers to grow, and then you go and take it, and then you can sell it off, and there's some of the cash crops, for example, the government will now just take it off of you and buy it. So yes, cashews, possibly cocoa, they will take it. Maize, I mean, with all these children going to school, NAFCO, they need food, right? Yes. If you're growing maybe maize or certain types of rice, you can just take it off the farmers and take it and either distribute it or give it to the government or whatever. Again, if you're able to process it and package it, people can use it as cereals. You can give it to the restaurants. You can give it to the hotels. You can give it to all these catering companies that are around. They don't want to have to go looking for a farmer to give them whether it's the tomatoes or the ground pepper and so on. So that's it. You can even grow seeds and people will buy it.
Wow.
Yes, the companies who buy seeds from you and sell it on. So the potential is vast. I mean, the value chain is huge, and it's a shame that for so long we've missed it.
Yes, but because of people like you, we'll get to tap into. Now, tell me a bit about 2Scale.
Fantastic. So 2Scale is a foundation which is there to help people in agribusiness. But now for Ghana, they want to focus on women in agribusiness. So there's a 6-month project where we want to inspire women to either get into agribusiness or, just learn more about it. Then we want to incubate them, give them some well-needed training for them to, understand the technical expertise that are required, what they should be doing if they want to grow their business. And then finally, we want to get some of them investment ready so they can accelerate their business.
Nice.
So they may want to go into different markets, either locally, the rest of West Africa and the region, and even out of the continent. And so that's what 2Scale is about, and specifically in Ghana, AYA, this very short project, is here to give information and great resources and support to women who are interested in agribusiness. And so far, it's been very interesting. The response has been very, very good.
Very good. Okay. Have you closed the application, or anybody can apply?
No. So we're having a webinar on the 6th of September for an hour and a half, where some of the business champions from other parts of Africa will be there sharing their strategies, sharing their stories, and some women in Ghana too who have been interviewing will be sharing their stories of how they've been able to achieve success in this male-dominated industry, and the webinar is actually free. Anybody can join the webinar. It's free.
How do we find it?
Okay, so on Facebook is facebook.com/AYA2Scale. So AYA, the number 2 scale, SCALE, and the website is aya-2scale.org.
Okay.
So if you just Google AYA or 2Scale, it will come up. But we really want to help women to scale up their business, to professionalize, to find out what works, what doesn't work, and more importantly, to support each other, because there's nothing more beautiful than a sister helping you out, and you're making money together, going shopping together, and feeding your children and the nation. So yes, that's what 2Scale is all about. But like I said, it's a webinar. There'll be a training in 3 locations in Ghana. Again, the training is completely free.
Wow.
But there'll be a selection process, and the criteria, one of the criteria is that you join our webinar on the 6th of September.
What time do we?
It'll be 2:30 to 4 p.m. An hour and a half, and you can register online again for free, either through the Facebook page or on the website aya-2scale.org, or just look for me, Jennifer German. I'm in charge of AYA here in Ghana. Look for me anywhere, you find me.
Okay, any last words for those interested in agribusiness?
I'm amazed there's so many women out there doing great things in the sector, and I think if you're young, whatever age you are, just get a taste of it. Get interested in it. You have to eat anyway. Even if you're going to start by growing your own food, and I've heard them talk about it on City, on the radio. Grow your own food to start with. Learn something, and you'll be amazed that potentially you could make a lot of money and feed the world. As they say.
Ghana.
And Ghana, yes. Start with Ghana.
Thank you so much, Jennifer Agyeman. Jennifer is an agribusiness consultant and focuses on skills. She focuses on skills and business development for women in the sector. And if you want to learn more about her, you can check out AYA.
aya-2scale.org.
aya-2scale.org.
And it's two S-C-A-L-E.
S-C-A-L-E. Thank
Awesome.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Good to see you.
Well, before us, how are you doing?
We're doing fantastic, Jifa. I'm very, very, I had my pen and I was taking notes. Women in agribusiness. In fact, agribusiness in general, there's a lot to learn from the women. And of course, the guests that we just interviewed. In the meantime, we have been hearing a lot of good singing, a lot of good music, intermittently during the program. A lady with the name Enunyam. Solid, fantastic singer by all standards. We are joined in the studio by Enunyam. Now, while she's singing, right, you can just tell, Jifa is like a strong, powerful, feisty woman. But then when Enunyam is singing, I just see her go very, very calm. Very, very calm. And it's sweet. So if I had my own way, every morning I'll just have some music playing in Jifa's ears, so she'll be calm. It's okay, Jifa. The world isn't that bad as you think it is. Jifa, just be calm. We are joined in the studio by Enunyam. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Thank you. Hello.
It's fantastic to meet you.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, I heard a lot about you before the program, and it's good to finally see you.
Yes.
Okay, so singing in general, before we even, in fact, what's your real name?
My name is Enunyam.
Oh, that's your real name?
Yes, that's my name.
If I was calling you Enunyam, are you aware?
Oh, I guess I know.
Are you aware? But where are you from?
Ekuapem Ekropon.
Ekuapem Ekropon.
Yes.
Okay, so you're not from Jifesh region.
No.
So it's not Enunyam. You are confirming it's not Enunyam.
No.
Okay, so Enunyam
Akufo.
Enunyam Akufo.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
solid. Okay, so Enunyam Akufo, tell us a bit about you. Growing up, your whole life story. Tell me a bit about you.
Enunyam is a.
Are you a shy
very
person?
Simple. Yes, I am.
I can tell you're a very shy person, but like you sing or when you're singing, it's a different person.
Yes, it's a whole different ball game.
I'm going to push your shyness. I'm going to push your shyness. So tell us once again. Tell us a bit about you. Okay, let's make it easier for you. Let's separate your life from the time you were born to 10 years. We are going to do it in a 10-year block. How was your life like being that, that young?
Okay, well, I'm a PK.
A PK?
Yes, a pastor's kid.
Oh,
I grew up.
I didn't know you were called PKs.
Well, yeah, I call PKs.
If my father was a pastor. Anyway.
Yes. I grew up in a pastor's house.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, God has always been like the central thing for us, and me and my siblings actually. So yeah, it controls every other thing,
So was if you did something bad. Okay, now let me add maybe another 5 years or so. If you did something bad, would the P beat you?
Oh, he won't beat you.
What are some of the bad things you did when you were a child?
Huh. Okay, I stole.
You're just telling me. Don't worry. No one else is. The whole world, no one is listening. It's just us. What are some of the bad things you did when you were a child?
I stole coins from my mom's purse. I think everybody that did that.
Please. Don't say think everybody did that.
Okay.
Me, I never stole coins from my mom's purse. Just paper. Please. Okay, so you stole coins from your mom's purse.
And then one time I think I stole some meat from the soup.
A
couple of times actually. So yeah.
You stole meat and you stole coins a couple of times from the soup.
Yes.
That's fine. We forgive you.
That's fine.
We forgive you. Okay, so when it happens like that, or when you did something bad, would your parents maybe beat you, or they'll preach to you, or what usually happens to a PK?
Well, they talk to you. I mean, use the Bible to tell you that you shouldn't do that, and
They'll use the Bible to tell you shouldn't do that.
I mean, like they pick scripture from there and let you know that what you're doing is
because of some small offense.
I know, yeah. But at sometimes they will have to spank you a little to make sure you do the right thing all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to get into your life before I even focus on your career, because you're gonna come there. So, at which point, for instance, did daddy stop spanking you for doing something bad?
Well, I think when I got to senior high.
When you got to senior high school.
Yeah.
Then it reduced or it stopped?
It reduced. It reduced. Now he started knocking me.
Growing up in a pastor's house, that would be so lovely. Okay, so how did the singing start, and at which point did the singing come in?
I started singing at the age of 3. Yeah, I can't remember, but I was told that I sang at a wedding at
the age
with
of 3.
a full band.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I was.
But you can't remember this?
I know, I can't remember.
Okay. And moving forward, how did it develop? For the ones you can remember, how did it start generally for you? The ones you can remember?
Actually, my parents sing. Both parents and my siblings. It's a music house.
It's a music family.
Yes.
The sound of music. Okay.
More like that. Yes. We have instruments in the house. So growing up, I grew up listening to gospel music like all the time. And then I think
at this
I
point,
could sing along.
At this point, the only thing coming into my head is, let me remove this for balance. The only thing coming into my head is that you grew up with gospel music all around.
Yeah.
You grew up with a pastor for a father. Against all this, you are still stealing coins and stealing me from the why?
Oh, I
Oh, those ones just growing up.
Yeah,
just
just growing.
experience.
Yes.
Okay, but those ones you stopped maybe when you were 5 years or something.
Yeah. You just stop. You have to stop.
Okay, so there was music all around you, and in secondary school, were you singing as well? JSS?
Yes, I was singing. Yeah, in secondary school, I was the MD, music director. Yes, of the choir, Okwapiman Senior High School. So yes, it started from there.
And then you went to Tech?
Yes, I went to Tech. There too, I was an MD, music director, have a gospel choir. So yes.
So it's always been music director for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and I'm also informed also that you have done, you do backing vocals for Joe Metal and the likes.
Yes, please.
Tell me about that. How did that whole phase of your life start?
It started when I was in, I think, second year in the university. Yes. I think I got recommended to a few of them. And then...
A few of them?
Yes, in the beginning. And
who are them?
Oh, Joe Metal. I've sang with Daughters.
Yeah, Daughters of Glorious Jesus.
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yes, the list goes on.
I mean, I grew up listening to them. Tego Sisters, Daughters of Glorious Jesus. Yeah, they're really good. Okay, so you did backing vocals for these people.
Yes.
And at which point do you feel like, you know what, I want to move from the back to the front?
It has always been there, the want to stand.
Since when exactly?
I think when I got to Tech, yes.
When you got to Tech, that's when the whole thing started.
Yeah. I thought I needed to come forward and also give out what God has given me.
I mean, it's a wonderful talent. You have a wonderful singing voice.
Thank you.
Okay, so in moving forward from this point on, what exactly do you want to do, or what do you want to achieve in the music industry?
It's very simple for me. I want to use what God has given me to bless people. That's it basically.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. I want the music to reach everybody everywhere on the surface of the earth actually. Yes.
Okay, so what about family? You know, do you have a family of your own? Do you how old is Inyonyam, by the way?
I'm not married. Yeah. How old am I? Can I say this here?
Yes, I mean, your fans are watching. Very soon you'll be on Wikipedia and they can just find your age over there. So
I'm 20. I just turned 25.
Solid. Now, moving forward also, I want to look at possible collaborations. Do you see yourself maybe collaborating with other people in the gospel industry? If you have done, like I said, backing vocals for Joe Metal and the like, do you see yourself doing a collaboration maybe with Joe Metal or with Daughters of Glorious Jesus or with Sarkodie, for instance?
Possibly. It can work. Something like that can happen, yes.
You see yourself doing a song with Sarkodie?
I don't know yet.
Or you don't want to mix with non-gospel world just yet?
Oh, no, nothing of that sort. But let's see what happens.
No, I want to know I want you to put your mind to that right now and find out what exactly, whether it's something you would want to consider or you're looking forward to doing, or it's a no-go area for you. Because there are some people who are like, I'm strict gospel. I don't want to mix with secular music or secular musicians. And some will say, you know what, we all Christians, they decide to sing maybe about love or about other things. I decide to sing about Christ. There's no reason why we cannot merge.
I think I don't want to do that right now. Yeah.
You don't want to mix with that right now?
Yeah.
You want to focus on gospel?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I started doing gospel, would you do a song with me? Why are you looking somewhere?
It depends.
It depends on what exactly. You're the shyest person who's ever been on this set. You know that, right? Oh, look at her. She's ever like...
Oh my. Yes, it depends actually.
I'm even going to make you more shy. I'm going to push more buttons. Are you dating at the moment?
Am I dating? There's somebody in the picture.
In what picture?
In the picture you're looking at right now.
You're looking at You're looking at each other. Was that the gentleman you came here with?
No.
Okay, that's like a manager.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But the one you're talking about, he's watching us right now, right?
Is he?
He should be.
Yeah, I think
He
so.
should be.
He should be.
Okay, so sing something nice to him. I want you to sing something nice to him. He's
Really?
watching. Yes, he's watching.
I don't think he's watching. I don't think so.
Cute. That's cute. Okay. So remember that if you want to send us your messages, it's still hashtag Breakfast Daily. Remember, it's almost 10 o'clock, so you might want to squeeze in a message now. And also WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. Now let's talk about your social media handles.
Yeah.
If someone wants to watch your videos or see you perform or just interact with you.
Okay, it's Enunyam _ on IG, and then Enunyam on Facebook, and then Enunyam on YouTube. You find my videos.
Enunyam _ please spell it.
ENUONYAM. Yes.
So please say Jifa, please, it's not Enunyam.
Jifa, you heard it.
You're so shy. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on the set. But then I'm trying to get. I still want to push. I want you to leave this set never being shy again when you're being interviewed by anyone.
Okay.
I don't want you to ever be shy again. So I want to push as many buttons as I can.
Okay.
What makes you most uncomfortable?
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet what makes you uncomfortable. You've always been comfortable in life. Okay.
It's quite broad. Like your question is, could you?
It's quite what?
It's quite.
Okay,
wide,
I should. Okay, let me bring it down for you. Okay, let's just flip the whole thing. What's the naughtiest thing you've done as a pastor's kid?
Naughty.
As a PK, what's the naughtiest thing you've done?
Naughty.
Naughty, yes.
Okay, I remember one time I had a fight.
You had a fight?
Yes.
With who?
In church.
Wow, of all places.
Of all places. Of all places.
You had a fight in church?
Yes.
With who?
I think with one of the ladies.
Oh.
A small disagreement. And
a small disagreement turned into a fight. Why? What happened?
Do I even remember? It was just some very small issue, and then.
So it wasn't even worth fighting over.
I know, yes.
And what did you do afterwards?
Oh, I was all over the place. You know, normally a pastor's child, you try to keep your calm and all that. So because daddy's image is,
Oh, it was in your father's church?
Yep.
Oh.
Yes. So
that's smiling business. So. You know, the girl never come.
I'm telling you the truth.
The girl not to Kolesia again.
Oh, she will. I haven't.
Is she still at the church?
Oh yeah, she's there. And we're very good friends actually.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
Post the event.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just hear how the whole thing started.
Really, you really want to go?
Yes. Come on, talk to me.
Oh my goodness.
How the whole thing started. We are ejecting the shyness out of you.
Hey, goodness. I really don't want to go into.
You don't want to go into that, okay? But hands were not thrown.
No, I can't do.
But voices were raised.
Yes.
Oh, we forgive you, okay?
Yes,
we forgive you.
God forgives me.
Okay, so now I want you to give a final message to your new fans. Now people are watching you, and clearly they would be in love with with your shyness. I think your shyness is cute.
Thank you.
I think your shyness is cute. Okay, so people are watching you and they'll be in love with this fantastic personality. They've heard your voice, they've heard you sing. I mean, most of the songs you sang, I was really, really into it. Yeah. If you can calm Jifa, then you have a gift.
Huh.
Then you have a gift. Trust me, you have a gift.
Okay,
Okay,
thank God.
so tell them something nice.
The song Changed is out, and I really hope that the song...
That's your new single?
Yes, it is. I really hope that the song blesses you. I pray that it will address whatever situation that you find yourself in. So yeah, be blessed.
Okay. So we'll have you perform the change. Can you do the change for us?
Yeah, I can. I can
You
do
will?
change. Yes,
Actually.
I will do change.
Yeah. So give us like a few lines from the song Change.
Like right now?
Yes, right now, before you even take the stage.
Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. We'll be changed. We'll be changed. Fill us with your power as we surrender to your spirit. We'll be changed. We'll be changed.
I'm changed. Massacre, seriously, I'm changed. Thank you very much.
Thank you
and
too.
well, that's how you just heard it. I don't need to say anything anymore. That's Enunyam, and I'm solidly backing her. She has promised me that she will not fight in church again. Even if it's not her father's church, maybe another church. Anyway, thank you very much once again for joining us. That is Enunyam. She's a wonderful, wonderful songwriter and musician as well. And her song Change is out. She would be performing it first time live on TV today. So do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. You shall watch her do that performance. In the meantime, Breakfast Daily does indeed continue. Jifa will be joining me shortly. Stay tuned.
Good evening, this is The Point of View. We're live on City TV.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
We need taxes to run the economy. How do you do it sensibly and have the least pernicious effect in terms of cascading through the economy? And I think that is the thinking that is required. It's not a denial that we need taxes, and I think that is the difference in the two administrations.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on City TV. For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
Go.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
it's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Biggest You with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
I know about that photo. Saying Tim Titia who I go talk to. Yeah. This is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily. Ground up to the top. Boy.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. I really enjoyed your interview with Enyonyam, and I think a lot more women should be like her. It's infectious. I think I've calmed just from her aura.
No, you can't be calm. Anyway, thank you very much, like you said, for joining us. There were a few people who wanted to wish happy birthday.
Yes, my friend Patrick Ejay Nketia is celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Patrick. And he's the CEO of Utuma Fabric, so he makes cute bow ties. Yes.
Okay. Well, like
and he forgot all the people who are celebrating their birthdays.
Okay, no, there's Jake.
Oh.
Okay, name not Jake, Richard. Richard Sechi, he's the CEO of Ja, the yogurt people. So Richard Sechi, today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. And also Indira Nketia. Princess Indira Nketia. She's the princess of one of these wonderful communities. So happy birthday to you as well.
And happy birthday again to my cousin. She celebrated her birthday on Friday, but I can't say it again.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Thank you. We will leave you the hands up. And Enyonyam, we wish you a very lovely Enyonyam.
Thank you.
Have a productive day and a very lovely week. We will see you same time tomorrow. Bye.
Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. We'll be changed. We'll be changed. Fill us with your power as we surrender to your spirit. We'll be changed. We'll be changed. Manifest your glory as we come before your presence. We'll be changed. Oh, yes, we will. We'll be changed. changed. Oh, you are here, so we'll be changed. You are here, so we'll be changed. Manifest your glory as we come